Hey guys, what's up? So welcome to my video. I'm gonna do a bunch of videos today. As you guys can see, it's wet as hell because it snowed last night. So like I'm having issues with my axle now, trying to change the control arm. I know what the problem is, so I'm gonna put up a video on how to remove the axle and do all that. I don't want to do any of that stuff right now, to be honest with you. Well, I'm gonna have to, so if I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna have to do a video of it anyway. But let's go to the issue that I'm having with this car. It's got 225,000 miles. I put up a couple of videos on the misfires that I've been having on this car itself. So what I've changed so far is I've changed the spark plugs, I've changed the coils, I've changed the fuel injectors, I've changed the battery, I got a new throttle body. Changed what else? Changed the map sensor. So basically did all that. Was having the same problem after I changed the throttle body. The codes that I've been getting are a little bit different from you know, instead of having all the cylinders misfire, I'm having cylinder 3 misfire. It's telling me there's a vacuum leak somewhere, and that the fuel is lean, meaning that there's either too much fuel going through the system, or too little air, too much air, or I don't, you know, all that stuff. It's changed up. So basically this whole entire thing's been an adventure to me. Reason being, it's an adventure to me because every time I change something up, I won't know if it fixed the problem until a couple of days later, you know, and until you know, the symptoms either come back or they don't come back. It's been several times where I thought I fixed the issue, and then a couple of days later had the same symptoms. But after I changed the throttle body, you know, the code's kind of changed up. I'm not getting multiple cylinder misfires anymore. I'm getting a misfire on cylinder 3. And you know, it's not 3, 4, 5, you know, 2, 3, 4. It's only 4 cylinders. It's now cylinder 3, and there's a vacuum leak somewhere. One of those 3. So what I did was I actually, you know, I changed up the spark plugs and the coils. But what I did was, just to test out if it was really cylinder 3, was I swapped the coil on cylinder 3 to cylinder 4, from cylinder 4 to cylinder 3, and haven't had a misfire since. Before that, last couple of days, I've had misfires over and over and over, but haven't had a misfire since. But I won't know whether that's the reason for the issue until a couple of days later. A couple of days later, maybe even a week. I mean, I gotta wait until it either misfires or it doesn't misfire or something like that. But either way, it's really a pain in the butt trying to figure out what the issue is on this on this car, on these misfires and stuff like that. You know, all I can do pretty much right now is change up parts. I did the smoke test, not an official smoke test. You know, I had a cigar, smoked it up, and blew smoke into one of these tubes, and apparently I wasn't seeing any kind of leaking at all. I didn't see any kind of smoke coming out from any of the tubes or the intake. And you know, I'll probably do that test again. If it actually comes to that, I'll probably do that test again just to figure out what the main issue with that is. But you know, what else could I do but just, you know, wait and see. That's all I can do. Just switch out parts, wait and see. It's a pain in the butt, but you know, hopefully I don't have to go through the next step, which is either to change the fuel pump or to do a valve adjustment, both of which I could do without an issue. But this is just really time consuming for me. That's the big part about it. I mean, I don't like spending time, you know, fixing stuff on my cars, particularly when, you know, I got to figure out what the main issue is on the car. I got to spend time just to figure out if the issue has been fixed or not, which is like really a pain in the butt. If you guys haven't had an issue like this, it's just a pain in the butt just trying to guess, you know, trial and error kind of thing, you know. It's not one of these main issues where you know it's the starter and you know it's the alternator and you put it in and it's working, all that stuff. This is just me, you know, trial and error, trying to figure out what the problem is. And you know, it's really hard for me to figure out what that problem is. But I'll keep you guys updated on this. It's becoming now an adventure for me. Because originally when I started out, I was for sure thinking it was maybe the spark plugs. The spark plugs were old, they need to be changed out, and then the coils were old, they need to be changed out. A lot of this stuff needs to be changed out. It's got 225,000 miles on it, but man, I don't want to just, you know, I don't want this to be like a story. You know, it's a long story at this point. You know, it's a long story at this point. But sure, if you guys going through the same situation, you guys probably know the frustration of this whole entire thing. You know, trying to figure out what it is. I mean, like I said in our other video, a lot of this stuff needs to be changed out to begin with, but still, you know, maybe like one at a time, you know. But just having to go through all this like at one time, last couple months, just changing all this stuff out, I didn't need that. Did not want that. Didn't need that. You know, this is my first Honda I've ever had. Previous to this, I've had only pretty much Nissans, and Nissans are pretty simple to work with compared to the Hondas. Man, I gotta tell you, I'm doing the suspension in this car right now, and you know, even with all the rust on this car and stuff like that, this car is not like it's just so many things that, you know, gets in the way of me just finishing up these jobs, including the suspension. You know, it's just unneeded stuff like this. It's just it's driving me crazy, to be honest with you. It's just absolutely frustrating to me. But you know, this is the way it is with cars sometimes. You know, you just gotta keep on trying to figure out what the issue is until you get to the issue. And I know that some people are giving me some suggestions of what it is and what it, like. I've gone through all of it except for a couple of things. I mean, the next jump over would be a fuel pump. And like I said, valve adjustment. I could do both those things. It's time consuming, but I'll get back to you guys. See if this actually, you know, see if me swapping out the coil from 3 and 4 actually changed up these codes. I mean, I'm not getting the same kind of multiple misfire codes as before, but I'm still getting a couple codes, and it's just confusing to me. But I'll get back to you guys.